Hello everybody. Today I'm going to teach you how to install this fully self-regulated caster for the Razor Crazy Cart longboard wheel with the Apollo caster setup without having to put the threaded kingpin all the way through the caster, which makes it really easy for the bearings to come out when you're trying to re-grease it, or when you're just taking the caster off, it's really easy for the whole thing to fall apart. And so I created a 3D print here that sandwiches this top ring with the bottom ring using the stock kingpin that comes on the stock Razor Crazy Cart casters. And let's get to it. So another part that I forgot to mention is I am not going to show you how to take the stock Apollo casters and take them apart, because there's already plenty of videos on how to do that. This is just how to take their caster that's already taken apart and add a simple piece and add a bolt, and it becomes just like a real caster wheel. So you're able to take it off using that bolt and not have to worry about everything falling apart when you take it apart. Okay, so here we have all the parts we're gonna need. All the Apollo caster pieces, and we need the bolt from the original Crazy Cart caster, and we need the kingpin from the original Crazy Cart caster, as well as that lock washer. So from the videos I watched, the original way people are putting these together is by putting the kingpin through the top and having this nut on the bottom part. And that's the way that I did it, but I found out really quickly that that loosens up really fast, and I actually lost a bunch of bearings, and I said, what the hell? This should work, but it doesn't. So I went ahead and catted up this wedge piece that slots into this piece right here, just on the top like that. And then the washer and the nut pinch down on that, pinching the whole caster upon this. And I haven't had any problems with it so far. I've probably ridden a couple, like 10, 15 miles on it. Of course, I'm probably gonna put a lot more than that on here, but for now, it's worked great, and I don't have any iterations to it. Of course, just like the spacers, I'll put the link for this in the description. So when I got the Apollo caster, I cleaned the whole thing with disinfecting wipes, just these, and I made it look shiny and new without any grease or anything on there. And then, because it's really easy to put the bearings on and it's good for longevity, I have this, some synthetic grease. Works really well, and it helps put the bearings in. I'm not gonna put the bearings in because it's pretty self-explanatory. The bigger bearings go in this bottom half, and the smaller bearings go in this upper half. And I think it's actually a different model than the ones that you see in the video, because I just recently bought these, and I think the bearing setup is different. I can't confirm that because I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure the bearing setup is different. Now, to start building it, it is incredibly simple. So we're gonna grab our kingpin. It's like this, threaded. You want the non-threaded side, and then you're gonna take your upper bearing ring. You're gonna slide that on top. Then we'll go, oh, also do not forget, if you can see that washer on there, do not forget to put that washer on. That washer is incredibly vital for keeping your bearings from not screwing with each other or being too tight. So that first, and then we can put our washer. Doesn't have to perfectly be in this order, because then you can put it on after. Then we grab our actual caster fork, and we're gonna put that on top. Then, simple enough, last but not least, the top on. The next step is to put our wedge cone onto this setup here. And you'll notice that it fits in this gap pretty good. Probably have to press it in place. Depends on the tolerances of your 3D printer. Okay, next up is to take the stock screw from your Crazy Cart from the bottom of the caster and start screwing it into the kingpin. Okay, you'll probably notice that there's too much friction to do it by hand. So I'm gonna go over to the vise and finish this up. All right, so we're gonna have our caster part. You're gonna wanna put the vise locking in on this bottom screw here. Try not to lose any of those bearings. Okay, tighten it up on that bottom part. Should be able to see it, how it's pinching it like that. And we're going to fasten that down. And then we're going to grab our connector. 11/16 should be the perfect size. Okay, and then don't forget to Loctite this. I already have Loctite on it, so I'm not gonna do it again. But then you're just gonna put this on top and we're gonna start screwing down. Okay, should take a while. This is a pretty high threaded screw, so it takes a minute to get it all the way in there. Okay, now as you're screwing down, you'll feel a little bit more resistance and you can test if there's play. I think I just got it perfect there. But if it doesn't really do like a full revolution with a flick, then you can just back it off just a tad. There we go. That looks good. That's simple enough. Then we can take our caster out, and now our caster is fully self-contained, and now we can just screw it into the Crazy Cart just like a normal caster, which I think is a way better solution than trying to put the kingpin through the entire caster. And it's simple enough. It's one 3D print, and you still don't have to buy any special hardware. Also, do not forget to put the lock washer on. That's going to help keep your caster in place. And if you find that it is too difficult to screw this, or you don't have a big enough or thin enough crescent wrench, then what I figured out works is you can find a stake like this or just two metal prongs and put them just like that, and then use your clamping wrench like this, and it gives you enough room from all the parts, and you're able to unscrew and screw it and tighten it however you'd like. Okay, with our wheels and bearings and our caster, like I said earlier, these are just two 3D printed parts. Okay, doesn't really matter which orientation you put the wheel in. It really is up to you. Since this is the caster that goes on the right side of my cart, I'm gonna want the wheel facing outside, not inside, so that way I can have the lettering or the logoing. It's not just blank. But how I like to do this is just like this, but I have the wheel in between my fingers. So I'm going to put one of these spacers on one side, one of the spacers on the other, and I'm going to pinch it with my fingers, just like this, right? And then grab your caster, and you're going to try, while keeping those spacers in place, just to slide it into place just like that. And there should be enough friction to where it's not just gonna come out super easily. Then we're gonna use our pin, and we're gonna slide it through, try to time it up with that little spacer on the inside of the wheel. Okay. I don't know if you can see that from the phone, probably not, but the little spacer in there is not in the right spot. So what you can do is grab just the same forks we used, and you should be able to see that washer, and just kind of move it back into place. And then should be able to just push it right through, just like that. Then we use our lock nut and tighten that up, and bang, there you have it. Fully contained Crazy Cart caster, just like the Taxi Garage ones, but for like $80. Like I said, all the files will be linked in the description. Thanks for watching.